It ain't the size that counts, asshole. It's what you do with it. Stop throwing me into the wall. No. Okay, guys. Time for another Chucky review. Alright, we are now on to Bride of Chucky. Now, this is one of my favorites within the franchise, let me tell you. Alright, this is where the comedy... For me, this is where the comedy and the horror mix perfectly. Alright? Coming off the back of the third one, this takes place... This came out in 1998, takes place in 1998. So, this was a little confusing, alright? Child's Play 2 came out in 1990. Okay? Does it take place in 1990? Because if it did, then that means that the events of the third film took place in 1998. Which could only assume that the events of this film take place a couple months later, I would assume. She says she spent 10 years trying to find Chucky. Well, in 1998, 1988, kind of fits, but so ever since that happened, she's been trying to find Chucky. So, were they saying that, I guess it couldn't be a direct sequel to Child's Play because he was all... Yeah, the scars that Chucky has, because you gotta think about it, the scars that he has is nothing what happened to him in the third one. Like, half his face was taken off by that scythe, right? He fell into the fan, exploded everywhere. So, what she has, even if they had put him back, I don't know if they even did, there wouldn't be one whole thing. Hello, Dolly. But, like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. So, now I tell you my history with this movie. In 1998, when this movie was coming out, I saw previews, I knew it was coming out, I was like, oh, because I saw the way Chucky looked. Not like these. Like, I don't have it. He has the scars on his face and everything, right? So... that really scared the crap out of me, and I was 11 years old at the time, right? So, that version of Chucky scared me so much that I couldn't even watch anything. Well, I'd seen the first Child's Play a million times. They had Marathon on the USA Network, so I was ready to watch. And Child's Play 3 came on. And like I said, I watched the beginning when they show swirling in the vat of the... of the plastic, rubber plastic, whatever. And then I saw when he kills that dude with like circulation, like the strangulation to get the circulation going. And I turned it, because I got scared. What did I turn it to? WCW Monday Nitro. Do you know what night it was? Do you know? Do you know what night? Can you tell what night it was? Can you guess? Can you guess just what night it was? That's right. It just happened to be the night where Chucky showed up and interrupted an interview between Scott Steiner and Mean Gene Okerlund. So, in trying to get away from Chucky, I found Chucky. I was like, 11-year-old me is like, I can't escape him. And then I was even more nervous because, watching those movies, how he hides under things, right? So I wouldn't let my legs dangle. I had to cross my legs in chairs. I wouldn't let them dangle over anything. Because I was so scared. I couldn't even go to bed that night. I had to lay there looking under the bed. You didn't know. My grandma blamed it on a Goosebumps VHS tape. Tower of Terror. That didn't scare me at all. Try to tell her that. She wouldn't believe it was Chucky. Oh, you've watched Chucky before. You're not afraid of Chucky. There was even the Saturday Night Live skit my mom called me downstairs to look at, and I ran back upstairs. Even though I've seen that skit now, it wasn't Chucky, it wasn't even Brad Dourif, it didn't even look like me, had like white hair or something, I don't know. I'll have to watch it after this review, but it wasn't Chucky. But I saw it back upstairs. I just know. But now on with the actual review. Now, like I said, this is, to me, the only film in which the horror and the comedy gel together perfectly. What it is Tiffany, a former girlfriend of Charles Lee Ray, hires the cop to bring her the Chucky doll, which, as you know, nothing like it did before, but I digress. She stitches it up, puts more stuffing in it, fixes it, all that stuff, gets new feet or whatever, new hands, whatever it was, and she fixes them, right? Then she does she lays him down, like so, you can't see it, but she lays him down, and she starts doing the chant with the Voodoo for Dummies book. Adi Due Dembala, that stuff, and nothing happens. And then Damien, played by the late Alexis Arquette, shows up, shows her some fake crime scene photos, or whatever it was, murder photos. She realizes it's him. And then she realizes Chucky's gone from where she had him. And he shows up, sitting on a table or something. And she puts Chucky on top of him. And he's laying on the bed. He's like handcuffed to the bed. She handcuffs him to the bed. She puts Chucky sitting on top of him, right? And she starts doing a dance. And then David makes a mistake of challenging Chucky's manhood. Like, oh, he's too little to do anything to you. And that's when he whips his head around, looks at them, and says the line, like I said at the beginning of the thing. It ain't the size that counts, asshole. It's what you do with it. Love that line. This film was directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directed Freddy vs. Jason, which is probably I like both these movies. I love Freddy vs. Jason. I love this movie. You know, it works. So the story here, it's more centered around Chucky than it is the other characters, but there is some development with the other characters. Andy is no longer in this story. It's now Jesse and Jay, two teenagers, even though I think they were in their 20s, but I know Gordon Michael Wolfe, who plays their friend, was in the 20s in 1998. I'm just saying. Jade tries to trick her uncle, John Ritter, by pretending she's going out with this other guy, but he's obviously gay. And see, I just thought of this. All right, Ronnie, you directed 2 movies in the horror genre right at this point. Okay. He directed both. Let me rephrase that. Ronnie, you directed both Freddy vs. Jason, Bride of Chucky. Both movies have a storyline detailing an overprotective parental figure, teenage girl, her boyfriend of sorts, and that overprotective parental figure doesn't want that boyfriend anywhere near his niece and or daughter, right? They're in both movies. I don't know. I don't see, it's not exactly the same because like in Freddy vs. Jason, the boyfriend in question was in Weston Hills for a few years. But my stomach is growling. Something's cooking in there. Oof. I'd say it's kind of ironic how they have similar storyline. But see, I don't. The dad in Freddy vs. Jason, I understood why. All right, he was protecting her. Right, he was protecting her from who he thought, from Freddy. Right, because if the boyfriend goes around and starts talking about what really happened, and Freddy gets brought up, then Freddy comes to the forefront, right? So he's protecting not only his daughter, but the whole town from what really happened. I get that. But here, in Bride of Chucky, I don't get it. He's overprotective for no reason. And we see Jesse. He gives no reason as to why this should be happening. Yes, he's probably older than Katherine Heigl's character, Jade, because he's living in a trailer park. She's like still in high school, going to prom or whatever. But just because you live in a trailer park, and I get this because, I understand this, I know this, I should say, because my grandmother lived in a trailer park. Just because you live in a trailer park doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're trash. Doesn't mean you're an asshole. No. You see these shows on TV with trailer park people are rednecks, basically. That's not my grandmother lived in a trailer park. Okay? It's not like that at all. And that's what John Ritter's character thinks that Jesse is. And he's not really. He lives in a trailer park, the same trailer park as Stephen, by the way, they're neighbors. But he's not a bad dude. You see all these, I call it Romeo and Juliet syndrome, right? Two lovers that want to be together but are constantly being torn apart. I'm torn apart by something, someone, family, whatever. So let's get to the nitty-gritty, the kills. Oh my god, the kills are better than ever in this movie, let me tell you. Officer Needle Nose, John Ritter's personal police officer, I guess. His death, Chucky takes a rag, sticks it in a gas tank, lights it on fire. Boom! Right? That's not the first kill. But because John Ritter doesn't technically die at that point, I'm going to do it after. Because it does happen after. Jesse and Jade are getting married, okay? But it starts when Warren, John Ritter, goes to plant weed in the van. When he comes home, he sees Jesse's van. He decides to plant weed in there. And he's killed when they set up a trap. It's Tiffany's idea and nails it to his face. Nails into his face. Chucky looks at him and says, "Now, where have I seen that before? Pinhead." We'll get to those movies eventually. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Anyway, he doesn't act. They shove him in the little compartment there in the van, but that's not his death, because when they get married, he pops out again, and Chucky's forced to stab him. And that's when he gives the line, "A true classic never goes out of style." If there's one death that I question... Wait, I have another death. There's two deaths that are kind of questionable. One, I just don't like. The other one is iffy, okay? It's they're con artists is what they are, but they're pretending to be a honeymoon couple. And they show up in Jesse and Jade's honeymoon suite, and they claim it's their room, but they steal Jesse's wallet. And for some reason, Tiffany doesn't like this. "Oh, you slut, bitch, whatever." I'm like, you're a murderer, and you're judging a thief just because she stole something? You kill people. That's worse. Steal anything you want, you'll get, a determined amount of time. 10 to 25 years, right? Murder someone, you're getting life. It's worse. Alright? And her and her husband have killed people. But she judges this couple on being thieves? She shows up in their honeymoon cell while they're doing it. Worst sex scene ever. No nudity, nothing. He's just like on top of her. Come here, Chucky. He's on top of her like this. She's going, you don't really get to see anything. He's just on top of her, right? Like this. And then, or like this, and Don't touch me, asshole. Ah, stop it with a fucking wall. Anyway, so the woman, the woman car artist sees Tiffany's reflection in the mirror above them. Why? I know that it's a thing, but why would they make a bed where there's a mirror on top of it? I know there's a thing. I know it's a real thing, but it's impractical. Seriously, it is. Why? Why would you want to lay there and see yourself laying in the bed? I don't know. She takes the champagne bottle, throws it up, hits the mirror, the pieces come falling down. Now, I've always, I've always thought, glass falls down on you. It's not 100% that it's going to cut you or land in you blade first. Glass is going to, anything that falls is going to fall a certain way. It's going to tumble when it falls. So it's not guaranteed that it's going to stab you in any way, shape, or form. With this, almost every piece of glass stabs them or the waterbed or something. There's a few that are splattered on the sides of the bed, but every single piece of glass goes straight down in a slashing motion onto the people and the bed. There's no way in hell every piece of glass will come down straight and slice through them. A couple, maybe. A couple, maybe. All of them, definitely not. I'm just saying. Stupid kill. I mean, it's an interesting kill. Not really, not practical. But, and the other kill is David's kill, which to me, this seems like a way to get him out of the film. It doesn't make any sense, alright? He shows up. Okay, here's another thing too, alright? When they're at the hotel after their wedding, right? Jade calls, I forgot his name, I just said it. Not Warren. I said Warren? Not Warren. It's not Michael. David. David's dead, right. If I said Warren, I'm sorry. David. So Jade calls David thinking that Jesse's the killer. Jesse calls David thinking Jay's the killer, so he shows up, right? At their honeymoon suite, which is, like, out of town, right? They're in Vegas, I assume. I don't know. Maybe not, because if they go from there to Jersey so quickly, maybe they're in New York, I don't know. But, it seems like they drove out of town to get there. And so he wouldn't be able to just walk there, is what I'm saying. He'd have to drive, right? Well, he shows up, scares them, jump scare, and the next scene, he's in their van, and they're driving away. What about David's car? And wouldn't it be better, smarter even, to get into David's car, since they're looking for the van? The police are looking for Jesse's van. They get into David's car, they drive away, and, okay, that would help the film, because they'd probably put the dolls in the trunk, which would kill the film instantly. I get that. But it would make more common sense if they all got into David's car and drove off. Wouldn't it now? But no, David just gets into their van, where he finds Warren's body, and immediately thinks they're killers, after explaining to them that neither of them is the killer. He grabs a gun, which is most likely Warren's gun, right? That doesn't even make sense. So, he has a gun, he points at them, he wants off, the cop sees them, the cop's gonna turn around, right? Well then, Chucky and Tiffany each pull out guns. Where the hell they got them from, I don't know. But they hold them out, and David gets final destination by a bus. here's what should have happened, right? David has the gun. The other two, Chuck and Tiffany, they have guns, which scares David because they're dolls. He drops the gun, and it falls somewhere, and he's forced to get back in the van and shut the doors, and they forced to drive off, right? Have David there. I know they probably didn't want him in the final part, but it could work, right? He could be there. Even if he was to then die in the explosion when the van explodes later, you're saving him a little bit longer. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work with him there, but I just think people getting hit by a bus is the easy way out of killing someone. Just hit him with a bus, it's fine. It's a cheap kill. So this all leads to the cemetery, and the biggest plot hole in the entire series, the Amulet of Damballa, or whatever it's called. The Heart of Damballa, right? Because Chucky explains that to get back into human bodies, they need to get the Heart of Damballa from his corpse in Hackensack, New Jersey, and use that to transfer themselves into human bodies. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. He had 3 movies where that Heart of Damballa thing wasn't even existing. And you watch Child's Play, and you know for fucking sure there is no Heart of Damballa around his neck. And they've even, in future installments, Curse of Chucky, for one, completely eliminates the Heart of Damballa. It's in this one, and it's briefly seen in Seed of Chucky. But other than that, it's never mentioned again afterwards. Because it's a plot hole. I understand they needed a way to move them to the destination of the climax. To keep them on the road. But Jesse and Jade were already on the road. I don't know. The dolls wouldn't have made sense, but I don't know. They needed a way to push them to be on the road with the couple so it would work. But the Heart of Damballa, it pisses me off so much because being a hardcore fan of the original, it makes no sense. I know for a fact, when I first saw this, I'm like, what? No. He didn't have, and I'm 12 years old. No, I was older than that. 13 maybe. We were still living in the apartment, so 13. I'm like, there's no Heart of Damballa. He didn't have it on him. I knew that. 13 years old. It pisses me off. I'm sorry. It's just... So they go to get this Heart of Damballa, right? They get it off his corpse. Oh, there's another kill. You don't see it. They kill this couple. They take their RV. They cause a domestic argument between the two over cleaning and stuff and housekeeping. Jade kicks Tiffany into the oven. Chucky gets knocked out the window, and this is where another problem is. Yes, he shoots at Jesse, but Jesse decides to swerve off the road, instead of just hitting on the brakes. You're much like Mike in the first movie. You can't move out of a way when you're in the same vehicle as that person. Mike was trying to, Detective Norris was trying to drive away from a knife in the first one. And Jesse is trying to turn away from a bullet. It breaks the window, not him. They didn't need to crash. That's all I'm saying. So, if you don't know by now, Jesse and Jade are wanted criminals. They think they're the murderers or whatever. And so, at this point, Chucky has Jade, Jesse has Tiffany, and they do a prisoner exchange. Of course, Chucky doesn't care. He does the I didn't do it dumbbell thing. The other two are tied up. They do the dumbbell thing. Before it can work, Tiffany stabs Chucky. He falls down into his grave. then someone, there's a cop or someone who's coming to exhume the grave, shows up. He tells them to freeze. Chucky, he sees Chucky running around. He's like, "Oh my god!" And so Chucky's death it's not the best. He just gets shot. But the line he says before it, I love the line, alright? So many good one-liners in this. "Go ahead. Kill me. I'll be back. I always come back." But dying is such a bitch. He gets shot once. Shot once. How many fucking times did it take for him to die in the first one? He got thrown into a fire. Survived. Shot. Both legs. No. Shot. One leg off. Both arms off. Head off. Still survived. Not until he got shot in the jaw did he die. I don't know if this was in the jaw, but he dies instantly. And then the guy tells the people, "Oh, Jesse and Jade are innocent," right? They didn't do it. Jesse and Jade leave. And then the guy finds Tiffany. He's poking at her. And she gives birth. I should have mentioned that there's a sex scene earlier in the film between Chucky and Tiffany. It's very brief. You see Tiffany's butt cheeks. But other than that, the dolls, whatever. Other than that, nothing much. There's a rubber joke. "Chucky, you got a rubber." "Tiff, I'm made of rubber." Other than that, so it ends with blood spurting out of the where of Tiffany, the doll, and a little doll-like creature coming out, which would be Glenn/Glenda in Seed of Chucky, jumps at the guy. Movie ends. Alright, now at the end of this, you think, "Oh, God. Son of Chucky," right? Because think about it. There's Frankenstein has Bride of Frankenstein. I think there's Son of Frankenstein, right? So this is Son of Chucky. Well, became Seed of Chucky, which is arguably the worst. I don't think it's the worst. I enjoy it a great deal. Just for the wackiness that it is. And I'll cover that next time. But for now, my score for Bride of Chucky is going to have to be... I'll give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for Bride of Chucky. Alright? So what are your thoughts on Bride of Chucky? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you not like it at all? Do you hate it? You think it's the biggest piece of shit in the world? With the next one in the franchise? I don't think so. But let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, howdy ho.